All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Characteristics of Life for Living Environment. We're going to go straight into the material. So, the very first thing that a living environment teacher teaches about is characteristics of life. What makes something living? Okay, why are you living as opposed to a rock or as opposed to a desk? So that's what we're going to briefly discuss here in this video. So just know that the characteristics of life, all living things are made up of cells. That is the number one thing that you should always remember. If it's living, it's made up of cells. Living things metabolize. So you have a metabolism, meaning that it needs energy to maintain life. You need energy by the food you eat, the water you drink, the oxygen you breathe in, and we'll discuss that in the future as cellular respiration. All living things maintain a stable internal environment. I'm going to highlight the word homeostasis. That is a really, really important word that it's going to follow us through all of our videos. You're going to see it pop up a lot. I'm also going to highlight cells. I'm also going to highlight metabolism, because remember, when you are writing the answers to your test, to these questions, you have to make sure that you put these vocabulary words into your sentences. Another thing is living things reproduce. So living things reproduce their next generation. Humans have babies, dogs have puppies, cats have kittens, and so on and so on. So living things reproduce. So now that we know that all living things must have cells, all living things metabolize, they need energy to live. All living things have to maintain an internal stable environment. They have to keep homeostasis. And all living things reproduce. Let's go ahead and practice some Regents questions. So here's the first one. State two ways in which a single-celled organism, such as an amoeba, and a human body cell are alike. So here's the amoeba. And here are some wonderful human hands. But if you zoom in and you see that we are made up of cells, these are all skin cells. And this is a microscopic view. So it's asking, state two ways. So this is very important on a Regents exam for you to actually give two answers. If you only give one answer, you get the entire question wrong. And you don't want that. You want to be confident and answer with two answers. So state two ways in which a single-celled organism, that's Mr. Amoeba over here, such as an amoeba, and a human body cell are alike. 1. How is an amoeba the same as a human? They are made up of cells. So even though the amoeba is just one cell that's unicellular, it's living. It's made up of a cell. We're made up of trillions of cells. So 1, it's made up of cells. 2, you can pick from any of here. What do you want to say? The amoeba metabolizes. The amoeba has to maintain a stable internal environment, and the amoeba has to reproduce. So let's keep it simple and say both the amoeba and human reproduce. So one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen when students take this test is that they reinstate the question and then you lose all this writing space. You don't need to rewrite the question. Just go straight to the answer. It's awesome when teachers see that you number it, that you have full complete sentences, that you are spelling and grammar is awesome, that they can read your handwriting. My handwriting isn't the best right now because I'm using the Apple Pen on an iPad, so it's not perfect, but you can read it. So that's really, really important. So those are the two answers that we have for the amoeba and the human body. They're both made up of cells and they both reproduce. Next question that we can practice. One characteristic of all living organisms is that they, so I'm going to highlight a key term here, all. They want you to choose something that no matter what you are, if you're an amoeba or a human, that they both do it. Okay? So make food. Do you make food? We're not talking about you in the kitchen cooking. We're talking about, does your body make food? Do you make food for yourself? Absolutely not. What makes food are autotrophs, like plants. Auto is a very important root word. It makes food for itself. Plants make food for themselves through the process of photosynthesis, where they take energy from the sun and then make sugar for themselves in the form of energy. So we don't do that. We don't photosynthesize. So this is not a good one. Live on land. Do all living things live on land? Absolutely not. We have fish that live in the water, and, all types of animals that live in the ocean. So, and then there are animals that live on land. So that's not for everyone. Maintain a homeostasis. Maintain a stable internal environment. That is definitely something that all living things must do. Move from place to place. Ladies and gentlemen, when we see trees walking around, we're in big trouble. So plants don't move from place to place. There are many animals that move from place to place, but there are living things such as plants that do not move. They stay rooted in the ground and they do not move. So the best answer for this one was number 2, C, maintain homeostasis. Number 3, which sequence is listed in order from simplest to most complex? So this is part of characteristics of life, but it's going to welcome the way of learning about the cell. It's asking you to list the smallest to biggest. Simplest is smallest to most complex, largest, right? So let's see what we have here. They have tissue. They have tissue here, tissue here, tissue here. Let me change the color. Let's do red for cell. Cell, cell, cell. They don't have cell on this one. Organ system, organ system. They don't have it here. Organ system. Organ, 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 organ. Organism, organism. Okay, so we are going to use what we have and work from smallest to largest. What is the smallest thing to the largest thing? Now, you're going to find a lot of these questions asking for the level of organization. This is asking for levels of, organization. The smallest out of all of these, I don't see organelle. I see cell. So the first one is cell. Next, when you clump cells together, you get tissue. What's bigger than a tissue? An organ. When you put organs together, you get organ system. And what's bigger than an organ? When you put all organ systems together, you get the organism. I should have done this smaller to have more room, but let's just give an example. You have cells, right? Then you have tissue. Then you have an organ. I'm going to say the stomach. Then you have organ system, digestive system, right? Then you bring all the organ systems together. Then you have organism. Then you have a human. So let's see which one. So we know that it's definitely not A. And it's not D because it doesn't start with cells. So you already eliminate those two. So you have either B or C. So let's see which ones are in order. Cell, tissue. Okay. Then the next one is organ. And then organ system. So the best answer, the one that's correct is B. Cell, tissue, organ, organ system. Okay, here's the last question for our short video of characteristics of life. A student brings a specimen and claims it is a living organism. Explain how a microscope could be used to determine if the specimen is a living thing. They want to find out if you know what makes something living. This is back to characteristics of life. A student brings a specimen. You don't know what it is. You want to find out if it's living. They're giving you a hint that you're going to use a microscope. These are all things that you have to have in your answer. I'm going to give you about, you should pause the video now so that you can think for yourself and see if, thinking about the characteristics of life, what makes something living? What would you do to the specimen to see if it's living? All right, so hopefully you pause the video. And remember, the best thing you could say about something that you're viewing under a microscope, especially, this is a compound light microscope, is that you want to see if it has cells, okay? That's what you want to say in your answer. So the specimen can be viewed under a microscope to see if it is made up of cells. And you will get your wonderful point for that wonderful answer. So we have specimen, we have microscope, and we are giving our answer here. And you will get your point, your +1 for answering this question correctly. And notice how you do not have to have all these crazy explanations like you need to do in your other Regents exams and ask for essays and short responses. Here in Living Environment, just get to the point, making sure that you include the main idea into your sentence with those science vocabularies. All right, guys, that is it for characteristics of life. I am going to post every day a new video with the order of how you should have learned Living Environment. In order for you to get these notifications, you have to subscribe to this channel, to Hope STEM. Okay, videos will be uploaded every day with the next topic. And then I'm also going to post the full curriculum, but they're short and quick versions of them. If you are a student who needs way more help than these short videos, it's advised for you to take my online class. My online class will be available May 11th, which will give you about 6 weeks to prepare for the exam for June. I think it's, let's just leave it at June. I don't want to give an incorrect date. I'll give the date on my next video. But my class will be available May 11th. If you purchase the class May 11th, you get the early bird special of $99. And it is the full Living Environment class available for you at Udemy. So when you get the class at Udemy, you're going to have this amazing ability to have it in an app on your phone, and you're going to quickly, it's going to be short videos, but it is an extensive full course. And you will get a lot more information of each and every topic. But May 11th, you have to start it on May 11th. So by the time the test comes around, you will be fully equipped with all of the knowledge you need to pass this test. All right, guys, I wish you guys luck, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow here for the next topic after characteristics of life, which will be biochemistry, of course.